It's a little late getting up here to run off some of that booze. So before I start, there's something we need to get down, and that's important for later. It's the definition of the word name. Now, according to the dictionary, that I call it Google, a name is a word or set of words by which a person, animal, place, or thing is known, referred to, or acknowledged. Alright, so a little torn on the subject of being a father, having kids eventually. I know you're thinking, so it looks like Uncle Fester fucked Lex Luthor and he's what crawled out of the man womb. And that's both legitimate and very hurtful. Imaginary heckler I made up for this bit. But no, because on one hand, kids are awful. They're dumb, they're full of disease, they suck all your money, and they cry when they see me. But on the other hand, something magical seems to happen when you have kids. Eventually, at some point, you go crazy. Just like, you can go bad crazy, like, you keep your kids in the basement until they're 26 and a half years old and feed them nothing but sauerkraut, or something equally awesome and arousing. But on the other hand, you become like you can become good crazy, like, and it's this kind of harmless eccentricity where you have all these weird prejudices and just feelings about things that don't make any sense, and I don't understand it yet because I don't have kids, but it's a hard concept to explain. So got an example. Growing up, my dad had this thing about cats. It was this love-hate relationship. And, usually when you think of a cat person, you think of, like, some weird old woman with, like, 26 cats around her, and, she's gonna die and they're gonna eat her corpse. But my dad is, like, mid-50s, clinging to whatever hair he has. I clearly didn't fall into that category. Didn't follow in his steps. Mustache, and kind of, barrel chest. Think of, like, a flabbier Powers Booth, and that's my father. We had a cat for a long time. We got her when I was about 7, my brother was 9, my sister was 3, and he actually believed us when we said we'd take care of her, because children are known for their abilities to not make things die. So clearly he ended up taking care of her, and, he had kind of a rapport with the cat. Every, few days I would be woken up to him coming home from work, because he worked third shift, and I would just hear from my kick-ass Batman bunk bed, "You stupid fuzzy bitch, you don't contribute anything to this household." And she would reply, "Meow," because she's a fucking cat. But then she died. And, he reluctantly showed, sadness, because he would always talk about how he couldn't wait till she died. But then, shortly after she died, all these kittens showed up on our back porch. And at first, he's like, to us. He's like, fucking cats everywhere, shitting everywhere. They just need to go away. I thought we got rid of the last one. But on the inside, he's like, my motherly instinct has kicked in. Going to save these kittens for the winter. And so he starts, in the dead of night, putting out food for them. As if we're not going to notice that after our cat's dead, there's still bags of kitten food in our pantry. And so eventually he kind of comes out to the open with the fact that he's feeding these cats, and he starts telling us about them. And he's described personalities and names to these cats. And remember, I told you the definition of the word name. This is a point of contention. He claims that they're not names. A name would constitute some sort of emotional attachment. He says they're, the things he calls them are just tags to identify them by, which sounds eerily like a name. But, and he gave them personalities. Like, there was this one he called Whitey, because, surprise, it was white. It was fucking white, so we called it Whitey. Creativity runs in our family. And he hated this cat. It just did cat things. Like, it ate, and it pooped in the, yard. It just did cat things. But, like, whenever he would see it, he would run up to it, like, screaming. And this is a middle-aged, like, 50s man, just furious at this cat. One day I was in our living room looking out our window, and I see the cat's eating out of the bowl, and this white cat's out there eating. And my dad comes around the corner, waving his arms, screaming, "Ah!" And the cat just runs away, but so do all the others. And there's a trail of shit and urine. And wow, I drank too much, I forgot the rest of my jokes. So,
What's up?
Stay classy.